Okay, in this Resolve 16 tutorial, we're showing how to copy settings from paint strokes from one paint stroke to another. So if you have any kind of animation or anything you're doing in one paint stroke, you don't have to recreate it for each one. You can have it copied and pasted to several paint strokes. I'll demonstrate that in this video. You can start off with putting some footage on your timeline, switching over to Fusion. Now this will work with either a paint node or MaskPaint. Okay, to use the paint node, we're going to bring in a paint node. Then we're going to bring in a background, because you have to have something connected to the back here. You do it this way and then merge it, or you can have it in line. I'm going to have it merged this way, just have a little more control. So say if you want to add a transform after the paint and just move that around, and won't bother or mess with your original footage here, your footage in, and you just want to make sure that your background is transparent. If you want to see its effects over here for the paint, so we'll make sure the paint's in the first window here. So we'll hit the 1 key. So now the paint's here. Now we're going to choose the stroke instead of the multi-stroke, because this way it's persistent through multiple frames. And also we could create a stroke for each time we left click, draw, and then release the left button. That'll create a new stroke. So in this example, I'm going to be using letters. I'm going to be writing a word using the paint node here. So once you create and click your new stroke here, come over to modifiers in the inspector and upper right here, click on that. This will list out all your individual strokes. So right now we're starting with the first one, so we could choose all of our different settings here. So we'll just open these up so we can see all of our different settings. I'm going to start off by changing a different color. So I'm going to choose a shade of red here. Also might increase the size of my brush a little bit. And then I'm going to do one stroke per letter and draw out. I'm just going to draw out Resolve here, just for example. So I'm going to do it all in one stroke. So I'll come down, up and around, do my R. Now my handwriting is horrible. I'm also doing this with a mouse. You could do this with a drawing tablet and be a little better off, especially if you have any kind of artistic talent. But I'm just doing this quickly with a mouse. So write out letters here, Resolve. And you can kind of do this for a freehand title if you want. That looks beautiful, but again, this is just an example. So now you can see, now this eighth stroke that's listed here isn't what I've drawn yet. That's what I would be drawing. So actually this E is the 7th stroke. And what we're going to be demonstrating is how to copy the write-on settings from one to the other. And I'll just demonstrate here. If you take a write-on and drag the end point, it looks like you're drawing on the stroke. And you can also start from the other side if you want. But we're going to be animating the write-on on all these letters. But instead of going to each one individually, I'm going to right-click on this one here, close other controls, and go back up to stroke 1. Now this is the one I'm going to animate. So go back up to stroke 1, double-click on that, come down to the write-on, make sure you're at the beginning of the clip. Now I'm going to click on the keyframe and take the endpoint of the write-on over so that the R is gone. Then I'll move forward maybe to about 100 frames here, and I'll have it right on. So if I go back and play that through, you can see the R gets written on. Right now it's kind of slow because it's only going at about 9 frames per second. But once it goes through and caches, it'll play faster. So that's the end of that. So I could go back to the beginning and play it. And I'll play it a little closer to the 30 frames per second. Now I could go through each stroke and do this manually, but the easiest way, and what this tutorial is about, is if you want to copy that animation and apply it to each of the different letters, each of the different strokes, right click on the first stroke, click copy, and then go to each of these subsequent ones, open them up, go to the parameter that you want to paste. So I'm going to do the write-on for each of these. You right click and come down where it says paste write-on group settings, and that pastes that on. So then if I go back here, see now the R and the E writes on, and I can do that to each one. So I'll go to each stroke, and let's go to the write-on, right click, paste write-on group settings, do that to each one of these in kind, write-on, paste write-on group settings, stroke 5, Paste radar group settings, 6. And finally the last one. Now you can see that 8 is gone now because since I'm actually modifying these different settings, if I want to create another stroke now, I have to come back up and click on stroke, then I'll create stroke 8 and I can go and do whatever I want with that. But now the animation is on all these different ones. I can go back to the beginning, just double click on the new editor here, and then hit play, and you'll see each of the letters now is already on. I didn't have to go through and individually set up the animation. I was just happily able to copy and paste, and you can do that with any of the settings that are available. And this will work also with the mask paint. So that's a video of how to copy and paste settings from using the paint tool or the mask paint tool. And I hope you found it useful, and I thank you for watching.